Welcome back to the TBR Project Part 4. This is my Read It or Unhaul It video diary, and here is our lineup for this video. Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare, Scarlet by A.C. Galgan, Bloodleaf by Crystal Smith, The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu, and Greythorn by Crystal Smith.
So I'm now 4 chapters into Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare. So I'm a little sad to say that I'm not enjoying this one as much as I've enjoyed all of the other Shadowhunters books that I've read. It just took 3 chapters for me to get back into it, and it's been several years since I've read the last one, but I'm just not really feeling it this time. And some of that is just aging out of being the target demographic for this, because at 32 it's not always the most exciting to read about 18-year-olds. I do still read a lot of YA for that demographic, but sometimes it just doesn't do it for me anymore. And honestly, if the book doesn't pick up the pace a little bit, I might consider DNFing it, because the first 3 chapters were basically just reestablishing where the last book left off, and at the time of filming this I have 24 books left on my TBR that I would like to get through. So since I'm not really super committed to this series like I used to be, it may be time for it to get the axe. And that's all I have for right now, so I will update you once I've read a little bit more. So I've just hit the 60% mark on Chain of Thorns, and honestly I debated not even updating until I finish, because it's fine. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It is checking all the boxes for a final book in a Cassandra Clare series. You know, it's tied up some loose ends for the second book. It's laid some new plots, and we're kind of getting to the final boss battle that's always at the end of the series, and it's fine. I don't hate it, but I'm kind of ready for it to be over and ready to move on to reading other things. And I think I'm just done with Cassandra Clare for now. I mean, I kind of want to read her adult books. I think she has more than one out at this point. I don't know, I've not kept track, but I'm kind of done with the Shadowhunter series like I mentioned, and I am going to reread the Lost Book of the White and the Red Scrolls of Magic in the correct order. I can't remember which one's first at this point because they all just kind of blend together, but mostly I'm rereading the first one in that series to see if I want to DNF it and even continue to the second one, and if I don't continue, obviously I'm not going to keep either of them. So that's the plan. I will see you when I finish Chain of Thorns. So I finally finished Chain of Thorns, and I feel good about it. It did what it was supposed to. It was a little bit bittersweet. It tied up the loose ends. Everyone was paired off the way that they were meant to be, and it was fine. I do still think that I have kind of outgrown this series, which is a little sad, but I'm ready to move on to other books, and that means that Scarlet is up next. So Scarlet is a YA retelling of Robin Hood. It is the first in, I think, a trilogy, and it's from the perspective of Will Scarlet, who in this version is a girl. So I'm kind of excited to read this. I love a retelling of Robin Hood. It's a story that's very close to my heart because it was a whole thing in one of my classes in undergrad. So I will come back when I've read some of this, let you know. But I think so. I'm now 4 chapters in, and I'm actually not loving it. It is a little bit young, it's a little cheesy. As a concept, love it. I think if it was a little older, even just older YA as opposed to new adult or whatever, I think I would like it a whole lot more. I'm gonna give it another chance. I'm only 50 pages-ish in, so I'll give it a little bit longer, see where we're at. But I might wind up DNFing this, so I guess we'll see. So I've decided to DNF Scarlet. While I loved the premise, the idea, and the characters were kind of lovable, it's just a little bit young, a little bit heavy-handed in its messaging, and while I agreed with a lot of the messaging, found family, taking care of each other, seeing each other through trauma, that kind of thing, it was just kind of beating the reader over the head, and I'm a little old for that. I feel like there's definitely a time and a place to be more obvious about it. It's just not right for me in the phase of life that I'm in at the moment. So we're gonna DNF and unhaul this, and we're moving on. Like I said, we are moving on to Bloodleaf. I've actually already started rereading it last night. I'm now on chapter 2, and I'm still loving it. I picked this up like a million years ago at Barnes & Noble, and I wanted to reread it because I finally got my hands on the 3rd book, because it came out a couple of years ago now, because that's how long my TBR has been, but it had been so long between reading the 2nd one and the 3rd one like coming out and then me actually getting a hold of it, that I thought I should reread the series. So I don't expect to DNF or unhaul any of these in the series, but I guess we'll see what happens. So my last update for right now is that I've actually also started rereading The Red Scrolls of Magic, and I'm actually listening to the audiobook for this, because even though back in the day I was such a die-hard fan of the Shadowhunters Chronicles, all of the spin-offs seem to have taken me a really long time to get through. Like, some of the magic wasn't there, and I remember this one taking a really long time, so I thought, I'm dying for an audiobook anyway, and this was the next one in my TBR that had an audiobook option, so I've been listening to that, and it's already going a lot faster. I'm enjoying it. I have so missed Magnus and Alec. They're just so cute. So right now I'm having fun with it. So quick update, plot twist, I finished The Red Scrolls of Magic before Bloodleaf. That was not what I expected, but I'm not mad about it. And like I mentioned, I listened to the audio for The Red Scrolls of Magic, and I had a much better time this time around. The narrator just made it so much more fun, and it was so much faster to get through listening to it than reading it physically. And now I'm up to chapter 10 in Bloodleaf, and I'm still liking it. It's definitely reading a little younger than I remember it being the first time around, but I'm still liking it. I expect I'll finish it instead of DNFing. The main bad guy in this book is even more cartoonishly evil than I remember him being the last time, so we'll see what happens. So I'm now about halfway through Bloodleaf, and it's a little bit slow. It's taking me a little longer to get through than it did the first time I read it, but that's fine. I'm still enjoying it. I'm taking my time with it this time around, and that's fine. And I find the male main character even more annoying this time around than I did the first time. So I did wind up deviating a little bit from my physical TBR, only so I could put the audiobook for The Lost Book of the White on hold, since I maxed out my holds on Libby. So what I've been doing is just letting the holds go to the next person in line when they come up, but I had to make space, so when The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst came up, I borrowed it, and I've started reading it. I'm only 6 chapters in, I think, and the world is immaculate already. I'm so excited to read more. I want to learn about the magic system. The main character's like a little bit annoying with her antisocial tendencies. Like, girl, I get it. Like, nobody likes people, it's fine. But also, it's just a little much, but I'm just so enchanted with the world and the writing that I can't wait to read more. So I just wanted to pop in really quick with a couple of updates. I finished The Spell Shop, and I'm obsessed with it. It was so cute and cozy and charming, and I love the world and the characters, and I want to live in that world forever. I'm also just over halfway through Bloodleaf now, and it's taking forever to get through, which I'm not thrilled about, but I am still enjoying it, though I'm definitely not enjoying it as much as I did the first time I read it. I was so enchanted by the world and the magic system the first time that I think I just didn't really absorb how disorganized the plot actually is, and I'm getting a lot more of that this time around. But that being said, I think I'm still going to continue. I'm probably going to wind up keeping it and going on to the 2nd and 3rd books. So I finally finished Bloodleaf, and I'm keeping it even though it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't the 5-star read it was the first time around, but it was still like entertaining, so I don't feel the need to get rid of it right now. It may be on the chopping block in the future, though. I'm trying to put into words what it is exactly about the book that makes it feel like it drags so much, because like I think the premise is good. It's a retelling of Goose Girl. I can't remember if I've mentioned that already, but it is, and I really like the magic system and the world that the author has set up, but it just felt like it took forever to get through. But despite that, I still don't feel like I need to part with it, and actually that means that we're on to our last book of this video, and that is Bloodleaf's sequel, Greythorn. So I'm actually already 12 chapters into Greythorn. I simply did not have time to update at the start, but here we are. So this one's actually going a lot faster. It's like somehow easier to get through. It feels like a little bit less dense, and like Bloodleaf wasn't all that dense to start with. It just kind of felt that way because the plot dragged. But this one surely hits the ground running, and it's making it go a lot faster, and it's a lot easier to get through. So I finished reading Greythorn, and I actually wound up liking it a little bit better than Bloodleaf, which is wild because I remember the first time around I loved Bloodleaf and I was very disappointed with Greythorn. I thought it was messy. I didn't think it made a whole lot of sense. I mean, it's still not my best book of the year, either of them, but I'm not mad enough to get rid of them, if that makes sense. And I really liked the ending a lot better than I did the first time. I love a little time travel moment. This is like spoilers, but I mean, the book's been out for probably a decade now. Anyway, but one of my favorite tropes is when a character has an interaction with like a ghost or something like that, and then later in the story we find out that it's actually that character like warning themselves or whatever. Love that trope. No notes on that. Overall, it was a meh book. It did what it needed to, I think. It just didn't really have a whole lot of heart. I think I'm just too old for it at this point. And the charm isn't there anymore. So that's it for this video. If you like what I do here, I'd really appreciate it if you would give me a like and subscribe. And maybe I'll see you in the next one.